Games. Hi, my name is James, and this is James Loves Games. It's been a while, but I'm back. I've been busy playing this. Dragon Quest XI, S, Echoes of an Elusive Age, Definitive Edition. It's got a long name, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of long. I can't remember the whole thing without looking at it. But Dragon Quest XI, all you need to know, on the Switch. And this is my review, my interim review. I'll admit, have not beaten the game yet, but I'm about 32 hours in, and I gotta say, I'm liking it. I'm liking what I'm playing. It's sort of like a fine 5-course meal at a 5-star restaurant. Lots of fives in there. 5 means something good when you're eating, apparently. But lots of fives. I don't know why they just don't go 10-star, but that's outside the scope of this video. Today we're talking about Dragon Quest, not restaurant ranking conventions. Anyway, we're talking about Dragon Quest XI. I'm enjoying it, taking my sweet time, really savoring it. Plus the fact that I'm very busy and can only really play about 30 minutes to an hour a day also helps with that prolonging of the game. So today, I'm gonna tell you my thoughts about it. I've got my fancy new board here, trying something new. Hope you guys like it. I'm gonna start reviewing games with different categories. And the first category, are you ready for this? Is going to be visuals. Visuals. So the first thing we're gonna talk about visuals, basically the graphics, the menus, the overall art design, how the game looks. And I gotta say, Dragon Quest XI does not disappoint. Looks fantastic, whether it's on PS4 or Nintendo Switch. I like the look of it. I love the character design of Akira Toriyama. Loved him in Dragon Ball, all that stuff. It's just great. I love that they've kept using his art style and his direction through all the characters. The game looks amazing. It looks like you're playing an anime or a cartoon or something, and I dig that. The menus look really good. I think they match well with the visual style that they're going for in Dragon Quest. The cinematics look amazing. It's all out, very polished, good look to the game. But I can see how some people might be turned off. A lot of the Dragon Quest games do kind of blend together because they do look so similar. But I see that as a charm point. I see that as a plus and not a minus. I like the monster designs. There's so many different monsters and they all look amazing. And there's always something interesting to see. So, visuals for Dragon Quest XI. This is from 1 to 10, mind you. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a, boom, right there. It's a 9. I like the way this game looks. It's not perfect, but it's gonna be hard to have a perfect game. But I think 9 exemplifies the look of this game. Some parts of it could look a little better. The part where you're sailing around the boat, once you get the boat and you're kind of sailing around the ocean, it looks a little meh. I think it could look better, but I don't mind it. It's okay. But hence the 9. Ready for the next category? Here we go. It's a big one. Sound. Music, overall sound quality, sound effects, voices, that type of thing. So for this game, I understand the original release back in 2017, the music was kind of a digital MIDI kind of style of sound files, and it sounded kind of antiquated, like older Dragon Quest games. But for the new version, for the S Definitive Edition, they went orchestral, and it sounds so much better. I've listened to the 2 different ones, and this one's without a doubt the definitive way to listen to the soundtrack. It sounds amazing. Recorded by, I think, the Tokyo Metropolitan Symphony something. I don't know, some bigwigs in Tokyo recorded it, and it sounds fantastic. My one beef with the music, though, is it gets a little repetitive. Maybe I'm just being greedy and selfish, but I like it in an RPG where each town has its own music, its own unique music. In this one, it kind of recycles the same day and night songs through most of the towns. Some of them have their own, but for the most part, there's like 5 songs that you hear over and over and over and over again, and they're kind of wearing me out. There's like the overworld music, there's the boat music, there's the daytime town music, and the nighttime town music, and like 1 or 2 fighting musics. And that's like 90% of the music in the game. So I wish for a little bit more variety, but the music that we do have sounds amazing. Next, the voice acting. Normally for JRPGs, I opt for the Japanese voice track just because I feel like the Japanese voice acting matches better with the style of game. And typically the English voice actors in a lot of these RPGs or animes or whatever, they kind of ham it up a little bit and it just sounds goofy and out of place. But this one is spot on. It sounds amazing. I appreciate that all of the voice actors, I've never heard their voices before, and so it's not distracting. I know a lot of times in American cartoons and games, there are some voice actors that are so ubiquitous, you see them or you hear them in everything. There's like 2 or 3 guys that are literally in every animated thing in the United States since like the 80s. And when their voice pops up, it's very distracting and I can't focus on the game. And so for this one, I appreciate that the voices not only sound great, but they don't take me out of the story. Like they sound really good. But that brings me to kind of a random complaint that I have about the voice acting, and that's the hero of the game, the person you're supposed to be playing as, is silent, you know. And I'm not a fan of the silent protagonist in games. It's something you've seen a lot in Dragon Quest games, in Chrono Trigger, in Zelda. You know, the goofy hero that doesn't say anything, it just doesn't make sense to me. And so I understand that you're role-playing and it's sort of like you're playing as that character, so your voice should be his voice. But it ends up where there's all these situations where the characters are standing around talking and the main character, the hero of the game, is just kind of awkwardly standing around watching everybody else have a conversation while the fate of the world is decided for him. He just kind of follows everyone around and looks dumb. I don't really get it. It's just kind of silly. I noticed that I was just playing it earlier and they're all standing around talking about mermaids and stuff. And my guy's just kind of standing there like, yeah, there's, cool. Whatever you guys say, fine with me. So, it's kind of silly. So I kind of wish they'd have given him a voice and something of a personality and didn't just leave it up to my imagination to fill in the blanks. But hey, that's just me. The sound effects are great. I don't have any complaints about it. You know, when you swing a flaming sword, it sounds like what I imagine a flaming sword being swung sounds like. So that's good. So the sound overall was good. I'll give the sound an 8, mostly because it's good quality. I just wish there was a little bit more variety in the music. Gameplay. I don't know if this is 1 word or 2. So I kind of went somewhere in the middle where you can't quite tell. Gameplay. Very important in a game since it's what you're doing the whole time. Bottom line is, if you like RPGs, especially JRPGs, you will love this game. It's turn-based combat. It's a lot of the same old that you've seen in RPGs since the 80s. But it works, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But there have been a lot of quality of life additions that they've put into this game in particular, and I think the special edition for the Switch, like there's no random encounters. You see the enemies on the field, which I love. I hate random encounters. They drive me nuts. They give me anxiety. They actually have random encounters when you're on the boat sailing around the world, and I don't like it because you don't know when the enemies are gonna pop up, and I don't like it. And so I appreciate that 95% of the game is you see an enemy, you can choose to engage or run away or whatever, but you've got more choice in your battle strategy instead of just you're walking and all of a sudden go, "Dun!" and it's just you're fighting, and I don't like it. I like that you can use your tactics, so you can put a lot of your characters on autopilot, and there's so many different options as far as how you want them to play. They can play conservatively, they can, conserve MP, they can go into healing priority, they can fight wisely, they can mix it up. I mean, there's quite a few different ways that you can do this, and you can just do it all manually, just like any old other JRPG. And so I like that it gives you the choice. It's certainly not to the level of something like Final Fantasy XII's Gambit system, which I loved. I wish if they'd have fleshed it out just a little bit more like that, I would have been in hog heaven. But this is good too, because a lot of times you're grinding through the enemies, you're trying to level up. Not much, but a few times here and there. And after you're fighting the same enemies over and over again, it starts to kind of wear you down. And it's nice to kind of put it on autopilot where your teammates can just kind of do most of the work automatically without having to scroll through the menus. And so it's fun that way. Everything else, it pretty much operates like that. There's some fetch quests here and there, go to this place and talk to this guy, deliver this letter, and then you gotta get a letter from him and deliver it back to the girl, and there's quests like that. I mean, it's an RPG, you're gonna have fetch quests. But, it does it in a way that makes it interesting. It's nice to talk to the different characters and really kind of fleshes out the world a little bit, and that's nice. But as far as difficulty, I believe that there's multiple difficulty settings, but I'm playing it on normal or whatever the default is, as I usually do. I'm not a glutton for punishment, so I don't play on hard mode most of the time. But if it's got an easy learning curve. You can jump into it. If you've never played a JRPG before, it's certainly not bad. You can jump in, even if you've got like little kids that are probably like, 8, 9, 10, they could probably even pick it up fairly easily. But if you're into more challenging things, there's a hard mode, and I hear it's actually kind of a challenge. So feel free to do that too. But it's a fun game. It works. They didn't really try anything new per se. So N8, it's good. It's not revolutionary. They're not rewriting the playbook. But, it's good. I like it. It's comfortable. It works. Next category, story. This is the part where I get a little nitpicky. Story is not so important to me in a lot of games, but this is a story-driven RPG, and so the whole point is to sort of peel the onion and learn more about the characters in the world and figure out the background of your hero and all this stuff and save the world and all that. But it's not a bad story, but it's definitely predictable. As I'm watching these scenes unfold and the story progress, I can see what's going to happen a mile away most of the time. And so I'm not on the edge of my seat just like waiting to see what happens next, because I pretty much already know what's going to happen next. If you've played a game or watched a movie, you can probably predict what's going to happen in this game. Having said that, it's not bad. I mean, I'm not bored out of my mind or anything like that. I do appreciate the story moving forward, but it's just, I'm not thinking about the story whenever I'm at work, sitting at my computer, like, oh, I wonder if Eric is going to learn anything about his past, or if Serena and Veronica are going to do whatever. And it's just like, I don't obsess over it, but at the same time, it's okay. And so I'll give it like this is just how I feel. It's a 6. It's not bad. It's okay, but it's not that interesting. It's like mysterious hero, gets mistaken for the bad guy and, has to convince the world he's actually the good guy, and then they kill the real bad guy and all that fun stuff. I haven't gotten to the end yet, but I have a feeling that that's what's going to happen. But again, this is just my first impressions, my first 30 hours of impressions. So maybe it'll mix it up and throw me through some loops and keep me guessing. But up to this point, it's been kind of like I've seen this before. So, sorry. Category number 5 is replayability. Now, for this category, I don't even know if you can read that. My handwriting is terrible. For this category, I kind of leave it a little open-ended. That can mean, does the game have a long playtime? Does the game keep me engaged at the beginning as well as at the end of the game's life? And also, it could also mean like in 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 years, is this game still going to be fun to play? You know, there's a lot of games out there like, to me, my ultimate pick up and play game is Castlevania Symphony of the Night for PlayStation. It's so good from start to finish. It holds up so well. Tight gameplay. It's just fun. And I love that game so much. I can pick it up. That game is over 20 years. It's like 22 years old, I think, at this point. I can pick it up right now and play through the whole thing and have a blast. Dragon Quest XI, I don't know yet. Like I said, I'm only 30 hours in, but it feels like it's really going to age well. And like I said, I'm only 30 hours in, and I've heard this thing goes past 60 hours, and I've seen some people saying they've put in 150 hours and all these crazy amounts of time into the game. I believe it. It's massive. It's a huge game with tons of content, and every new town I get to, I'm pleasantly surprised with how big it is, and there's new quests and new characters and people, and it's full of stuff. You really get a lot of bang for your buck with this game, and so it's hard for me to predict 5-10 years down the road whether this will still be good, but I have a feeling it's going to stand out. It's got a lot of classic gameplay of a JRPG, but I think that it will stand the test of time because it has all those sort of modern conventions and quality of life things that they put in, especially for the Switch version. So, it might be bold of me, but I'm going to say replayability is at 10. I think this game is really going to go the distance as far as time played, and I think it's going to go even further with. I hear there's lots of end game content, and like I said, there's collectibles, there's mini medals, there's side quests, and there's a new game plus mode, I think, and there's tons of stuff to do, and so I'm actually looking forward to. Exploring everything that the game has to offer and to give a more fleshed out opinion on it. But from where I'm sitting right now, replayability is at a 10. So those are my 5 main categories: visuals, sound, gameplay, story, replayability. Those are my 5 main categories. So if a game was perfect, it would get 50 points. Makes sense to me. But I like to have a little bonus section just for things within the game that I feel really contribute to the game as a whole, as a complete package, and really push it past, it goes above and beyond. So for the bonus section, I can just add however many points. It's my show, right? I add how many points I want. I'll give it 100 points. I don't care. So, I'll say things like the Talkington Village, where there's like little ghosts hidden all around the world that will give you passwords, and a clever little play on password, and it's a word about the past. So how they came to that, I'll never know. Just sometimes inspiration just strikes you like a bolt of lightning. I don't know, but they got some smart writers over there at Square Enix. But I like it. So it's like a 2D mode where you can do little quests from previous Dragon Quest games as your crew in Dragon Quest XI S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition. It's really cool. As you sort of meet these ghosts in the world, they give you a password. You can go back to their little village and transport yourself into 2D mode into a previous Dragon Quest game and complete some of those quests. And it's this really cool addition. And, I think that alone is worth a couple points, right? Not to mention, you can play the entire game in 2D mode. So if your style of gameplay is more along like retro lines, you like the really old Dragon Quest games on like Super Nintendo and Nintendo, you can play it in 2D, and it looks amazing. It's great. They didn't have to add that in, but they did because they're awesome. I love you guys. I really do. Square Enix, you did a good job. And the casino. I'm a big fan of mini games in RPGs, and I love casinos in games because it provides a nice little distraction from the sort of grind of leveling up. You kind of get into this routine of like town, quest, fight monsters, fight boss, go back to town, get your reward. move on to the next town and repeat that cycle. And it's nice to go someplace where there's like something like a casino or a fighting ring or something like that to mix it up to add something new. And so I think I've been to one casino, and I believe that there's 2 in this game. I haven't been to the second one. And I love that I can just sort of go and play poker or play the slot machines and unlock some weapons that way. It's just a fun little distraction. But yeah, I love the collectibles in the game, the mini medals. It's always fun to hunt for those and get special prizes for that. So you know what? On top of everything else, I'm going to go ahead and give +5 bonus points, just because this game is just polished and well put together, and I really enjoy all the extras that they definitely did not need to put in. They could have left all that stuff out and it still would be a fantastic game, but they put it in anyway, and it's all right. On to our final score. Woo! What's it gonna be? I added up all my totals, came to 41 points for Dragon Quest XI, plus 5 bonus points. I didn't major in math, so this might take a while. Let's see. It was carry the 1. X equals negative b. It was, yes, 46 points for Dragon Quest out of 50-ish. It doesn't matter. The number doesn't matter. What matters is all the stuff I've been talking about. It's a good game so far. Maybe the second 30 hours of it are total trash. I don't know. Haven't gotten there yet, but I'll let you know. But the first 30 hours are gold. As of 30 hours in, this game is fantastic, and I'm loving it, and I'm loving savoring it. So while it's taken me like a month and a half to make this video, it's probably going to take me that long to finish the game because it's just so good and I want to savor it. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, do the right thing and like this video. If you like my channel, feel free to subscribe to it. Feel free to leave a comment. Tell me what's your favorite part of the game. What do you love about it? What do you hate about it? Try not to put any spoilers in the comments, please, because like I said, I'm still playing it and I will read the comments. Yeah, it's a good game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in like 6 months to a year when I have my next video done, after I've completely finished this game with a fine-tooth comb. But until that time comes, see you later. Games. Pumpkin.